Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, coming at you live to talk about episode 2 of the anime series Just Because. And I was really reminded of a short subject anime series that just wrapped in the last season, Cleon no Akari, which dealt very much with the characters. It was a sort of a depressive, really emotional show. For each episode was like, 9 to 12 minutes, something like that. But it was all about this girl who was bullied in school, and she was very sickly, and a couple of the kids in her class, her classmates, felt very bad and remorseful that they didn't speak up for her, stand up for her, whatever like that. I digress. In a nutshell, the thing that this episode of Just Because reminded me of that show, the reason was they go to an aquarium, and this was something that was a really big deal for the characters in Cleo no Akari. They went to an aquarium, and it was like a great day out and everything like that, and they kept calling back on that, Cleone or whatever, as a reference to some form of sea life, that kind of thing, and it was a really sentimental, emotional show, and this show, took a little bit of a dip for me from how captivated I was with the first episode. It felt like a lot of what was happening in this one really didn't amount to a whole hell of a lot by the end. Like, it was interesting, but I really got a strong sense that maybe this show would be better marathoned, because it seemed like, from beginning to end of the episode, not a whole hell of a lot was accomplished. Not, everything that happened didn't really seem to amount to a whole hell of a lot, as I have said a couple of times now. Not that it wasn't enjoyable. It was somewhat hilarious seeing Haruto trying to, make a move on Natsuki, and trying to work up the courage to ask her out, make a confession, and I thought it was hella interesting that, in the case of Eita and Natsumi, Eita apparently has this harboring feelings for Natsumi, but Natsumi apparently is all about Haruto. This is who she's into. And so it's, sort of a love triangle kind of thing. And, it's weird because every time I see the synopsis and they're sort of pinpointing four characters as being sort of the main characters, but we have a whole bunch of characters really that are sort of splitting the focus. And so it's like, is it a love triangle? Is it a love rectangle? Is it going to be a love quadrangle by the end? I don't know. But, there was some funny imagery that was happening at the aquarium. The instant thumbnail, I knew as soon as I saw it was Haruto bending over as like a shark is going to, it makes it look like it's going to go bite his butt, and that was hilarious to me. I thought it was one of the laugh out loud moments of the episode came when Kamiya, the photo club chick, I guess she's thinking about writing like an article in the school paper or something about the reunification of Eita and Haruto, and getting a picture of them hugging on the field, a very celebratory moment when he knocks the baseball out of the park in the first episode. And like she I guess she reprimanded the two male counterparts of her photo club, and they reluctantly leave, and like, he was basically, the two guys are talking about, oh well, you said she was kind of a hard ass, you wish you could like go and fondle her chest or whatever. The sort of shorter guy is like, you want to feel my chest? And they stop dead in the hall. He's like, yeah, I guess. And then you actually see him going over, like, fondling his chest. And I don't know why. I laughed out loud pretty heartily at that. So, I mean, again, there wasn't really a whole hell of a lot accomplished in Haruto's trying to get close to Natsuki, and Eita really kind of just trying to feel out what his place in all of this is. And kind of sort of trying to refamiliarize himself with Natsumi, and her trying to feel him out. She had threatened him so many years back not to let it slip that she was interested in Haruto. It was the impression I got in any case. And she doubled down on that. She's like, don't tell him, don't say a thing. I'll break your ass if you even open your mouth. and all the while he's interested in her, you know. So he's like this close with her, kind of, sort of, and getting no closer. He's in the friend zone because she's looking at Haruto, you know. And that can get cliched, you know, that can be overplayed and become very cliched and annoying and boring and not really something you can get invested in. But I was still loosely invested in this because everything Haruto's trying to do to get, you know, the courage up to reveal to you know, Natsuki how he feels, that was interesting to me. Getting chummy with, you know, her little brother, and were they both her little brothers? I don't remember. Or was it a little brother and a friend? But in any case, you know, sort of going from being freakish to these two little kids to, at the end of the day, at the end of the experience at the aquarium, they're holding his hands eagerly. He's genuinely interested when they're talking about all these different kinds of sharks and what their favorite kinds are. He's like a really cool older brother, you know. You could see him being an awesome dad. And I don't know if Natsuki was really aware of any of this. I mean, her sister or friend or whatever it is observes the fact that, you know, while he has gotten close to the kids, that's not who he really wants to get close with. And I don't know if Natsuki's like cognizant of that or not, or if she would be interested in pursuing that or not, you know. It's just really in the early stages of how this is going to play out in the relationships of these characters. And there's enough going on that I am still interested in it. I do want to watch it, but, you know, I mean, I kind of had to wrap my mind around, well, how would I even approach talking about this episode? Because really, nothing really happened in the end. It just sort of continued where we left off at the end of the previous episode. And it's just really these characters coming together and refamiliarizing themselves with each other. And Haruto, he's striving towards something, but he's not really accomplished anything. He's not gotten anywhere with it yet. And so I really found myself debating whether or not to continue to discuss this week by week, because I don't know how much is going to be advanced in the story every episode. If every episode is like this, we're probably going to be only nudged that much further every single episode, which is why, again, I say it occurred to me that maybe this would be better watched marathon, because then you'd get that instant gratification, kind of. But of course, I don't ever have the time for that these days. I have so many weekly episodes I'm trying to keep up with. I got like 3 or 4 shows, live action shows, that I'm trying to keep up with. So, you know, having time to actually marathon, it would probably be like that last week before the next season, where, you know, all the shows have pretty much tapered out. Maybe there's 1 or 2 left that you gotta, you know, watch the finales of. And then maybe I'd be lucky enough to have a day or 2 where I could try to get through them all. But then the rest of my daily life would conflict with that, so I'm just going to keep watching it episodically. I just don't know if I'm going to keep talking about it episodically. We shall see. You know, whatever time and patience demands. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of episode 2 of Just Because, if you've seen it as well, if you agree with me that not really a whole hell of a lot was accomplished. You know, not really a lot got done to further and progress the story and the characters and such like that. But there were still moments that were laugh out loud funny and had me grinning and such like that. The charm of the characters is still, you know, there. It's still put in place. So it gives me enough to want to actually still watch it. Even if it's not, you know, there's no grand intrigue or mystery or, you know, compelling nature. It's just sort of a slice of life. These characters are just trying to get to know each other again, coming of age kind of thing. And so yeah, anything goes in the comments below. If you loved it, if you hated it, let me know as to why in either, you know, case, just as long as we have a great discussion about it. And that'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.